because people are fighting for wages, it gets swept under the rug, so to speak, right? Like but where you can find a lot of this stuff at is on YouTube. So out in many of the rural parts of the country, not the major cities like Shanghai or Shenzhen or Beijing or Chongqing and Guangzhou, but you are starting to see it in those parts too. But a lot of people are protesting, and you don't see this in the news, in the Moabite news here in the kingdom. But a lot of people protest because what happens is these people are forced to work overtime, and the company says, you know, we're down in money right now, but by the end of the month we're going to pay you back your time and a half or whatever. And then what many of these bosses do is when it comes time, when the end of the month comes, when it's time to pay up, they flee. They flee to another country. They flee to like places like Vietnam, or they'll go to like Laos or Thailand or whatever, and they take all the money with them. And these many of the workers are left holding the bag. Also too, with the stock market here in the Kingdom of Moab, speaking with some of my friends here. Yes, I have Moabite friends, right? So you brothers that are over righteous, get off it. But speaking to some of my friends here, who knows what's going to befall them in the end anyway. But as for now, yes, I have friends here in the Kingdom of Moab. Many of them, they talk about how they've invested in the stock market here, and they have a term. I don't know how to say it in their language, but they call the stock market a vampire, right? Because you're constantly feeding in, but you never get anything out. The only people who actually benefit from investing in stocks here in the land of Moab are those of the government, right? The government are the only ones that benefit. It's the people who are constantly pouring money in that keep it propped up, keep it valuable. But the normal people, they don't make money off the stock market. They just lose many of their investments. Yeah, like a few weeks ago, there was a big scandal with gold and silver prices, right? And so many people lost their life savings behind gold and silver when the company that they invested in handed them a piece of paper and said, hey, come in and redeem for your gold when you feel like it. And when the price of gold went up and the people came to redeem, the boss had shut down his factory. The boss had shut down his trading company and had left the country with all his money. It is really, really sad. Really, really sad what they do to their own people here. But, you know, that happens all over the world. Yeah, the wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Yeah, so when it's in due season, when you're supposed to pay up, when you owe somebody what they've earned, you're supposed to give it up right away, right? And they don't do that here, right? They keep kicking the can down the road, so to speak. I know you guys are all familiar with that term. Coming out of the West, but yeah, many of the managers and the CEOs and the bosses of these major companies here, they oftentimes they just, or people who really, what happens, what I'm noticing is a lot of people get taken advantage of from small businesses, and so they kick the can down the road. Hey, you know, we'll pay you at the end of the month, or you know, you work now for 3 months, and we'll pay you at the end of the 3 months or whatever, and they never get paid, right? They're always cutting corners, or they're always defrauding their own people. Right? Good. So moving on, let's go into Habakkuk. So let's do, you know what? Let's do Jeremiah since it comes before. Let's do Jeremiah 22:13. Bear with me, brothers. Jeremiah 22:13. Good. And so, you know, there's evil kings all over the planet, you know, and the kingdom of Moab is no exception, right? So, Jeremiah 22:13. Woe unto him, destruction unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. Yeah, so like I just spoke of, this completely links up with what we just spoke of in Habakkuk 22. You know, a lot of times these bosses, or what you would call a king, what he does is he builds his wealth through unrighteousness by not directly paying his people for their work. right, for their hire. They will oftentimes have somebody work 3 or 4 months and then say, hey, I'll pay you at the end of 3 or 4 months. Meanwhile, within that time span, they are secretly moving their money to offshore bank accounts so that way they can flee the country because they know their business is about to collapse. And instead of paying their people, what they'll do is they just take all the money, right? A lot of these people are very, very greedy, very selfish. As humble as what I would say also too is as humble as many Moabites seem to be. Many of them are extremely selfish, extremely selfish. Good. And reading on. And his chambers by wrong. Yeah, so by defrauding people to build up your own wealth. That's destruction unto you. As is written in the scriptures, right? That uses his neighbor's service without wages. Yeah, like I just mentioned. Right? So they'll have, you'll be working for a company for a number of months and they just will not pay you. Right? And then also too, what also ends up happening too is that a lot of these bosses from these companies, they will pay off the local police, and that will keep the crowd at bay, right, during these protests, right? People will be storming the building, ready to fight or whatever like that, but the police will come and step in or whatever because they've been given a kickback, right, to protect the boss from these unruly crowds for righteous indignation, right? These people have a right to be angry, right? You just stolen their money, and in many cases, much of their livelihood. What some bosses actually do is they will confide in what they would assume is a trusted employee and tell them, hey, the company is not doing real good right now, and but if you invest, I can give you money on the back end, and I'll give you back double from your investment if you just invest, because I just need a little bit more money to hold on, and then things will turn around because I got a new plan coming or whatever like that. And so this trusted employee, or a few of them, they'll give him the money that he needs, build him up or whatever, and that boss will run off with the money, right? And you'll never see him again. You'll never hear of him again. And it's a very prevalent practice here in the kingdom of Moab to just steal money from people. It's really sad. It happens everywhere. Where I'm at now is called the Silicon East of the Silicon Valley of the East. This is Washang Bay. So all your electronic needs and everything like that you can get here, right? For super, super cheap. But even though things are cheap here, the people will still rob you. Like I told you the story. I told you what happened to me, right? Trying to get my phone fixed. Motherfucker's gonna switch my battery out, put an old battery in. You know what I'm saying? Just to get over, just because they have nothing else better to do. Instead of just being upright. I see it with basketball too. A lot of times these guys, it's such a prevalent practice. They just cheat for everything, right? So when I'm playing basketball, one of the things that is a no-no back home in the West, even though people still do it, but it's less prevalent, is you don't cheat on the score, right? You get it out the mud, so to speak, right? Like if you're down 1-5 or 1-7 on a game to 11, if you're gonna win, then you win the right way. You don't cheat by adding on points in between possessions and stuff like that, right? It's a good way to get yourself hurt. But these people out here in the kingdom of Moab, they cheat for everything. They cheat for every little play. Every little play, they try to add on a point here or there when they think you're not paying attention. And I always call them out because I hate. I've always been this way since I was younger. I hate. If I lose, I don't have a problem. Although I hate losing in anything. I hate losing in anything. But if I lose fair and square, I'm okay with that. But don't have me lose by you cheating and lying your way to the top. That I will not tolerate. I'm not for that at all. So good. Reading on. And giveth him not for his works. Yeah, not paying the workers on time, or not paying them at all in many instances. And then the government not stepping in to hold many of these companies accountable, right? They just let them flee the country, right? And they know where these people are and they know who these people are. And I'm pretty sure the workers, they report to their local government, or to their local police station. But in many cases, the police they don't follow up on these crimes, right? They just let it go. They just sweep it under the rug. They don't want to deal with it because they've already been paid off in many cases. That saith, I will build me a wide house and large chambers, and cutteth him out windows, and it is sealed with cedar and painted with vermilion. Right? Exactly. So what they do is they build themselves with they build themselves a fortress, so to speak. So that way, when they steal the money, you have no way to get to them, right? And the fortress that they build here in the land of Moab, the fortress that they build is using the police force, right, to protect them. That's part of it. Or what they'll do is they will they move to a gated community where you can't get to them, right? And when you complain, when you ask for your wages or whatever like that, they will silence you, so to speak. But it's all going to come to a head. It's all going to come to a head because the economy's slowly starting to the more they keep turning the blind eye, the worse it's going to get, right? And things are just going to come to a head where you're going to be confronted by the people that you've chosen to be the people to be the people with, right? Good. So let's see here. Let's jump to. Let's go to Habakkuk 2 and 6. This money. Let's see. Good. 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 Habakkuk 2 and 6. 2 and 6. Should not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? Exactly, and that's what you have in many of these rural provinces all over the kingdom of Moab, is people taking up this saying or in protest. Hey, listen, this person has built his riches and has built his wealth off of our labor and has stolen our money. Give us our money. This person is a fraud. You need to do something about it. And you see that all over the rural parts of the kingdom of Moab. So on the coastal cities, right, you don't have much of that protest, although you do have it here and there in certain